All right, Joe, we're live for DeFi lunch. Are you alive?
Yes, I'm alive. Good slow weekend.
Yeah,
I didn't see like a lot of activity out there. As we called it on Friday, weekends are slow.
yeah,
Um,
I
but
did.
always good to come out of it in good shape.
Yeah,
So
I did the lacrosse weekend thing with my daughter up in Stewart.
oh,
Yeah,
how'd that work out?
she did well. She played great. The team lost one and won one, but she's she my daughter is highly competitive, and she doesn't like to mess around. So when her team was, she's a defender, so she's not supposed to score, but her team was down. I guess
Oh,
she
here we
decided.
go.
I guess she decided she was going to take things. So she got fouled there, and then went in for. I got. It's not called a penalty shot. I don't know what the hell it's called in lacrosse, but she drove it all the way down and then scored. So, and then they won that game. So,
Is this the one who was doing the competitive cheer a few years
yeah,
ago?
yeah.
Yeah, she's an athlete.
She
You can
loves
see.
this. She loves this sport, like loves it, and she just wants it to be more violent, like the boys' version. They don't get to get
Yeah,
violent. She would really like it to be a little more. Like she's dying to start checking girls, but their coaches won't let them yet because they're afraid they'll get fouls. So anyway, that was my weekend.
looks like a fun one.
It was good. It was good.
I was juggling band practice and parties and stuff like that over the weekend.
Aha.
And then the back and forth stuff. So it was.
Yeah.
It's always more work on the weekend than during the week. It seems.
Let's start off. I saw this inspirational tweet from this guy, Wolf of No Street, Matthias Locks. This Friday will be my last day at work. Strong and Ohm have put me in a position where I'll be able to pursue other interests, travel, and eat well. And the beauty is I'll still be able to afford to stack more nodes. My life is inflationary without the need to work. Crypto. I love when people post shit like this, right? It's that whole perpetual income thing we were talking about the other day. It's exciting to me. I do hope this guy is, skimming off the top and putting some away, but not going to completely count on, the same yield levels and everything. I'm not even familiar with Strong. I've heard people mention it. I haven't looked at it. But I do love watching, the growth of Ohm tokens. So anyway, I just love seeing stuff like this. I think there's going to be a lot more folks being able to kind of early retirement or take a little less time for work and a little more time for play. So
Well, I think that's key. Is that it doesn't. Not everybody wants to be a billionaire. Okay?
yeah,
And so it's also about lifestyle.
yeah,
You don't need to make that much. Is
that's
what it
right.
comes down to. And if you can do it while doing all the other stuff too, thank you. Thank you. Then why not? I mean, it's clearly in the right space. I mean, I think I saw something today about MasterCard saying that any bank or merchant on its vast network will soon be able to offer crypto services.
Nice.
So if MasterCard's doing it, I mean, that's what links small businesses up with consumers
Yep.
and consumers with services industry. So to me, I think that's a big positive. But yeah, no, to me, when people succeed at something like this, it's like you said, it's always good to trim the sails a little bit on the way up, take some winnings off the table for the inevitable dips and rainy days because they will come.
Yeah.
And it's not always this easy. I
Yeah.
guess is the way to put it. So enjoy it, but stow some nuts away for a rainy, cold day.
Yep.
We'll need it.
So speaking of enterprises, I'm going to cross promote my episode that's out today with Paul Brody of EY. And Paul is the global blockchain leader at EY. And I now look, I'm fortunate. I get to interview like lots of big brain people for that podcast, right? So I'm always pretty excited about the people I'm talking to on this show, but I didn't really know what to expect from Paul, right? You know, my initial bias on a big four accounting firm in my head is, oh yeah, you know, they're going to build some private blockchain infrastructure bullshit, blah, 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 blah. But I had connected with them because they announced a partnership with Polygon of utilizing their Nightfall layer 2 solution on the with Polygon, in partnership with Polygon, that provides full privacy for users of that tool. And so I was enchanted by the idea that these guys were actually doing some cool stuff. And I really wanted to listen to this interview, because your biases about what a big four accounting firm would do in DeFi and crypto will be blown away. And when you hear the things that they are developing that are amazing for the ecosystem. So for example, they have the first version up of their smart contract scanner, smart contract and token scanner, which is utilizing AI. And it's very rudimentary right now, but they are spending millions to develop this tool using AI to scan smart contracts and tokens, so that, and it does everything. Not only looks for security bugs and holes, but also does simulations of what could happen. So stablecoin loses its peg, big whale sells too much, blah, 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 right? So their goal is full integration with wallets and DeFi platforms, so people trading can actually scan. Now, they built it for enterprise clients to be able to engage in enterprise level transactions and make sure that the smart contract that they're going to deal with actually does what it says it does. But now they are making it into a product that all of us can utilize to scan smart contracts and tokens and feel a bit safer about what we're engaging with in DeFi. The privacy tool they built, they made the strategic decision to develop everything for the public blockchain for Ethereum. They've spent millions and millions of dollars hiring cryptographers, developers, scientists to build out a team there. Everything they build is open sourced and available for anyone else to utilize and make. And their Nightfall tool, the reason they developed a privacy-focused layer 2 solution was they needed cheap transactions so enterprises could transact cheaply but privately, right? No enterprise is going to want to have their transaction record publicly available on the blockchain so people can know what they're selling, how much they're selling, what price they're selling things at, right? So their goal was to create a way for people to cheaply execute transactions without everyone on the blockchain knowing what they were doing. The end result is we all get another layer 2 that has full privacy built in and allow us to transact the same way these enterprises are, completely privately. So really impressive stuff. There were another 10 things that they are doing. What I was most impressed with was that strategically, every decision they have made, besides kind of like their consulting services that they offer to clients for blockchain, everything that they're doing has an application to normal Joes like you and me, normal Joes, right? That it has an application and has value for us. And so they're releasing everything they do, and everything they do benefits us in the ecosystem, but also helps grow their business, right? And so really impressive interview. I like what they're doing, and it was not what I expected of a big four accounting firm. So.
Yeah, no, I noticed that I kind of ran up against, or not against, but side by side with an IBM project like that, a blockchain project. And what I sort of determined, like you, is that there's all this enterprise grade blockchain out there where, it wants to be decentralized, but at the same time, it has other, competitive advantage concerns, privacy concerns. And so how, they've built that up to where you can almost plug and play at these different platforms. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
For those that, I like to say it's everything but the token,
Yeah.
It's like, so, but they don't need a token. So
they are actually even going to probably encourage tokens for different supply chains, right? So that'll have value that are specific to those supply chains. So that was interesting. One of the things that he pointed out that I didn't realize solved a problem that I've encountered in my career in the past is, all the big guys have an ERP system and they require all their small suppliers to shove all their data into this system so that the big guy knows everything that's going on in the small guy's business, right? And the entire supply chain has to feed up. And then another bigger guy says, no, I want your data. And it's always a problem with these ERP systems is the reason supply chain automation hasn't completely changed everything yet is because nobody wants to give up their data. Well, the beauty of doing this with a cryptographically encrypted private privacy-focused layer 2 is that now these transactions can occur and the contracts can be deployed based on the agreements between partners and companies, and the systems can reveal the data that a partner needs without revealing everything else that a partner needs to know. So really, I'm going to keep a close eye on EY because I'm not only excited about what they're doing for us, but I'm also excited about the enterprises they're going to be dragging into blockchain, right? And the opportunities there.
Well, just remember how after .com and internet boom, so to speak, when you looked at what happened, that was kind of when the transition was made from IT being a cost center to a revenue center or revenue stream. Prior to that, everybody was kind of like, IT, how much should we spend in there? It was sysad guys and some cable people and stuff like that.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden people figured out, wait, there's gold in them Dar Hills. So it turned into like revenue streams. And I see the same thing happening with, enterprise blockchain and crypto is that, now, where you're going to attack the sort of the income statement or the P&L to expand margin and cash flow, it has to be in efficiencies. And so to me, it has to be around finance and capital and all these different things with the data and how you can use it in different ways that creates more efficiencies and gets you fatter margin, which is what you want. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So anyway, I encourage everyone, you can go to missiondefi.com to listen to that, or you can hit me up on Twitter, and the link's going to be in my last 5 or 6 tweets. So take a look. I'm excited about the future with those guys. So I just set up an interview with Sam Kazmian, who I've interviewed before from Frax. They are doing some really cool stuff that he's going to reveal in November to further improve what's already a really cool algorithmic stablecoin. But the really cool thing that's coming from them is the Frax price index, which is their attempt to give crypto a replacement for the consumer price index, and building around stablecoins. So those of you that haven't heard the Sam Kazmian Frax interview on Mission DeFi, please check it out. He explains everything about how it's going to work, but I'm excited to see what these guys release next. It's a great project and Sam's a great guy. So
yeah.
And this is really important. There is a crypto Twitter debate going on right now about candy corn. And I am definitely a lover of candy corn. It is not a project, Joe. Joe's up there looking for candycorn.finance right now. I am a big lover of candy corn, and Stephen Pally is as well, and is basically dismissing anyone that doesn't love candy corn. It's Halloween, so everybody should, get your candy corn.
Yeah, no, but wasn't there something? Didn't like CryptoKitties have something called candy corn?
Maybe.
I think I see that sometimes in
there you go.
Wallet there and here and there. Yeah, I'm pro candy corn.
Yeah, man, me too. Yeah. Me too. Absolutely.
Let the people have what they want. Right?
Some people just hate it though. It cracks me up.
Yeah.
All right. So what else you got, Joe?
Go to the pools real quick. Well, I did want to hear.
Where are you going? DeFi?
Yeah, I was just going to shoot through some pools. The quick swap pools are holding up nice. There's, Guard USDC is still there at 17.7 million % APR.
How much?
Bunch of arrow, 17 million.
On Quick?
Yeah, Guard USDC.
How is it staying up that high? Is nobody jumping in it?
It's just a lot of rewards, a lot of fees. So I guess that they're having a lot of.
Is that dual or LP mining?
That is single. That's just D-Quick coming off. So
Oh.
you know, QuickSwap does it where they include the reward or the fees, the trade fees in with the rewards. So sometimes that number looks a little large. But you know, obviously Mona is there, Erewhon is there. Now that's Sif Chain, which is another blockchain, like 35th on the list, but tied to Cosmos or
Are
built
you in
on
Sif?
Cosmos. Yeah, that one. It's, you know, to me, if you're believing that maybe the solution is the nodes between the layer ones is where all of the action is going to happen, the toll boosts will occur, then Sif Chain looks kind of interesting because it's built on Cosmos. But, you know, again, I was wanted to get some Cosmos exposure, and so I took it. So I've stayed in there. But, you know, a lot of good different pools there. You know,
I can't get there. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah. So just hit that APY button right there in the center.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll give you the highlights.
Oh, there's Gar. Okay, wait. Oops. APY. Look at that. Yamp quick, 27 million. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm not in any of those. I've been in Moonquick before. You know, kind of just pursuing a slightly different strategy, you know, these days.
There's Mona, 102,000.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I mean, come on, that's a stable coin pair. How can you not love that? And
yeah, that's beautiful.
It had a little sell off a few days ago from like 460 to 370 or something. So, you know, it's the right time to look at that.
Erewhon is the Sif one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been going down the last few days, but you know, when you're in these high yield farms, pools, you know, you make up for that pretty quick.
Sure.
Plus, I wanted the Atom exposure or the Cosmos exposure. Now, you know, I'm still heavy on the defined farms. You know, lots of high APY stuff there right now. I mean, you know, 260, 192. You know, nothing like 27 million. But these are ones that I've had in my wallet for a while that I've been trying to grow on. So, you know, and of course, then the dual farms. You know, I'm in that Polka PBR one on top of the Root one.
Okay.
Just because I like, again, Polka Bridge. You know, there was another one I'm looking at these days is Lido, which has something that goes from like ETH to Solana to
Lido, the ETH staking company.
I noticed it up on DeFi Llama. I was looking at it over the weekend and looked at it again today. Just an overview. It's, you know, it's like the 8th largest, but it's Solana.
Oh, it's
Terra,
on Solana
and ETH. Yeah, Terra, ETH, and Solana. So what I was looking at is if you know, in between Aave Curve and then MakerDAO is third. You know, 3rd through 7th on you know, the overview of DeFi, the top 7, they're all just Ethereum. So Convex, InstaDApp, Compound. So I look at some of those coming over more, but Lido to me, with its low market cap to TVL and its Solana and Terra exposure with ETH, seems like an interesting one to kind of, if you're going to play between the layer ones versus a layer one. So I'm kind of been thinking about that lately, but you know, in Define, that's where PBR fits, and that's where Router fits, obviously, and that's where you know, Matrix Swap sort of fits there. So holding steady, waiting for the Router protocol release to figure out what happens there. You know, that's one that I'm you know, want something to happen soon there.
Sure.
I started messing around with you guys over in Avalanche and picked up some time, which of course, you know, I've doubled my money over the weekend, so I'm fine with it.
You got to love that.
Yeah. It looks like an interesting one. I mean, you know, it looks like it's like Geist to me. It's one that at this stage, if you just commit some capital now and ride it for a few months, I think you do all right.
Well, I tell you what, the numbers are freaking amazing. So let me pull up. Where's that calculator? So, calculator guy's coming on Wednesday, Joe.
Oh, perfect. Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and he's the one that has turned me on to a lot of these things. So he built these cool calculators. So you can use the time calc. It'll tell you the current price, which has been skyrocketing. So let's say you started with 4.07 time and just leave it at the default. Current worth of that is $16,293. Let's set a target of $1 million. It would take you at the current price and the current rebase rate, which is 0.59%, which is probably, what is that, 63,000% APY, yeah. 233 days to get to $1 million from $16,000, right? It's insane, right? Or if you want to estimate months, you could say, what do I have in 6 months? $392,171. Now, that requires that it maintain. This is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Do your own research. These are just our opinions. Do not blame us if you lose all your money. Don't invest anything you can't afford to lose, because you probably will. Couple of things regarding time. Wonderland. Wonderland is built by the same founder and forked off of Ohm. They have a tight partnership with Ohm. Ohm has sanctioned this Ohm fork on the Avalanche blockchain, and a percentage of gains, revenue gains for the project, are going back into the Ohm treasury. So there's probably the risk of a tie between the two, like one drops, the other one might get hurt. But the other side of it is that it's the same developer that built Abracadabra, so MIM and all Magic Internet Money and all of that. High quality developer, respected in the community. This is not like a bad fork some dude did, and and this is a collaboration between Olympus DAO and Wonderland. So a lot of potential there, man. I mean, it's just a lot of potential. Who knows how long the APY will last? It's dependent on a lot of factors and variables in the formula, as well as how many people are in the farm, but that are staking. But in the shorter term, you can make some money. So you stick it in there for a year, you're at $10 million.
Yeah, the hardest part with that, I always say, is like if you started with 16 grand and all of a sudden it's 160 grand. That's the hardest point right there. The 10x. It's like, what do you do? And, the one thing I tell you to do for sure is you take that original 16.
Take that 16 out. Take it out. Yeah. So then take that 16 out when you hit 32 is what I would do.
Yeah, just get it off somewhere, because the hardest part is entry and exit.
Yeah. Or better yet, when you're once a week, take a percentage of the gains out. Yes, it will slow you down, but it will also make you feel good knowing the cash is there until you get to what you originally invested. And then you can decide if you want to skim profits from there or let it run.
Yeah, and you don't go bust then. So,
exactly.
So that's kind of the hard. So when you see these APYs of like, what is it, 63,000 on the Wonderland one?
Yeah.
It's like, to me, the odds of that happening are basically slim and none. But it doesn't mean that you can't get, that divided by 12, once or twice or 3 times or 4 times or 6 times. But, always think of it that way too, and protect yourself. But, by all means, this when the rewards are there and the marketing is there, this stuff over the short term does tend to do okay if you pick the right ones. So
Calculator Guy did a little video to increase your edge a slight amount on time. And that is to convert. So this is a little complex. The video is great for walking you through it, but essentially you use Abracadabra, which is also by the same developer, and you wrap the memo tokens. The memo tokens are the tokens you get when you stake time, just like when you stake Ohm, you get S-Ohm. So you get wrapped memo, W memo, and then you transfer it to the Phantom blockchain using AnySwap. And then you can come over to this pool at a site in Phantom called Morpheus, which is one of the bigger pools in the Phantom blockchain, and you can stake your W memo. So now here's how the difference of how this works is the W memo token is completely tied to the rebase rate of time. So when you pull the W memo out, you'll no longer see your staking gains in Wonderland time, but it is tied to the rebase rate. So the value of W memo, wrapped memo, actually goes up with the same. So you're not losing anything when you take the W memo out. You get the same rebase rate. You get the same rate of everything. But then you can come over to Morpheus and look, it started off at like 75%. It's only at 22.48% APY, but you can take your W memo, stake it here, and earn Morpheus against it, and then compound that back in through the process into more memo time, and then wrapped memo and compounded over here. So it's a lot of steps. It's not a ton of extra, but if you think about 63,000%, and then you're increasing the amount of that token that's earning 63,000%, staking it daily at a 22% APR, what is that? A 50% APY, 40% APY, math guy?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So even if you get that 63,000 up to 83,000, right? Just by doing this, it's just another little edge.
Yeah. And, again, if we're talking short term, remember, we don't
short term.
You don't think this is really going to last for a year kind of thing. But if you're talking about, a couple of weeks getting 80,000% versus 60,000%, I mean,
yeah,
that's at least probably 25% more returns.
Yep.
Just on that, if I have that.
Now,
25 to 33, somewhere in there.
The other thing to consider here is all of those steps I just went through that you have to do, the unstaking, the wrapping, the transfer across blockchains, the staking, the liquidity pool, the staking, all of that means that if there's a colossal crash of time, you're stuck because you're never going to get it out in time. You are making a commitment to that token and the people behind it, because when the crash happens, unstaking, unwrapping, restaking, unstaking, then selling, forget it. You're gone. You're done.
That's what I did. That's one thing I did like about that. What was that? I think it was Matrix Swap, the one that I'm pooled with on, I think, Define, I guess. Yeah. Is it that one? Yeah, I think it's Define. They have a nuke button in there. It was supposedly you press one button and it takes everything to stables instantly. Now, of course,
where was that?
It was on that one called Matrix Swap.
That's awesome.
But
go ahead.
Of course, slippage is probably going to be an issue at that same point.
But still.
And also, can you get them all done? But I think that's what that's what Brad's just talking about, that if it starts going south fast, your best bet usually at that point is to just, have already made the moves you were going to make before that happens.
Right.
So that's why you trim when it's up double. If you're up 10x, you take more off. You sell little bits on the way up so that then when the shit happens, you don't have to worry. You just wait for it to bottom out and then you buy in again.
Yeah.
So, and then, time your exits as best you can, but you're not going to be able to get out in a panic situation, which is like you wake up and I guess it's at zero or something like that. It's like, just go back to sleep, man.
You might as well just pray somebody recovers that project because you're not doing anything right now. No. I did find this weekend, I was looking at RugDoc because of another project, and they are the ones that do KYC on private KYC on project leads to prove who has ownership and to prove who they are so that somebody knows who the anonymous developers are behind projects. They also have this tool, which is an emergency withdraw tool that will, let's say somebody shuts down their website and they're going to rug on everybody, but they haven't rugged everything yet, whatever. This is a tool that if you put in the contract address and it's your wallet that's in the pool or the farm, will actually withdraw everything for you contractually underneath the scene without having to go through the website. So I thought this was a really cool tool. We should probably start building a list of resources. But I didn't know they had this, and that was impressive. So
that is pretty cool. I like that.
So I did the full-on degen ape thing in SmartCoin because I just had to. Just had to do it.
So let me ask you a quick question before we start the roller coaster. I looked at it yesterday and I was, because I was eyeing it a little bit over the weekend. And then I looked at it, I'm going like 12 cents. I thought this was higher than 12 cents. And then I'm looking at it. Were we talking about it before it went to 170 or after it was at 170?
I don't remember where it was when we were talking about it. I bought in at about 10 cents.
Okay. All right. So you got it at the right place.
Oh yeah.
I just saw, I was wondering if there's a couple of them around because I saw one rally up to like 170 and then back down to like 12 and then 20 and 12, but maybe there's multiple coins out there.
No, it did. I think it went up to like $2.40 at some point. So they are so playing the psychology of this thing up, right? So everybody was compounding, which I was compounding the hell out of it every like 20 minutes over the weekend because I'm on my MetaMask on my phone, right? I'm like compounding this. And then I started shaving off cash to get back to my investment like we were just talking about, right? So I know I put $2,700 in, right? So I know the 20, I didn't get there yet, but the goal was I was going to keep shaving to get to the 2,700 and then just let this thing go and see what the hell happens just because I'm having so much fun with it. I love the fact that they say they don't know what's going to happen. So anyway, this weekend they did a big burn on Saturday and yesterday. So they burned a ton of tokens. I think it was 54 million tokens. I think there's like 200, I don't know what it's up to now, 269 million. And they're going to do another burn of 54 million. So they've been yanking the community's chain, right? The people who are aped into this thing. So yesterday they said, they started talking about this Harvard professor and the paper that he wrote about the tokenomics model, but they don't reveal all the future tokenomics, right? So they now have this token coming that you get to swap for called Smart R. So, and they're claiming, I don't buy any of it, but they're claiming that they will be a better value than what Ohm is in the market. But what's interesting is, so they were pissed, I guess, that everybody was compounding, which, you know, that's this whole rate here is based on friggin' compounding, you know? So they were pissed. So here's what they did. When you go to claim, they put a notice in here, effective immediately. Users that do not sell or transfer their smart tokens will receive a 100% bonus of smart R tokens during the swap event on October 30th. There will also be a large bonus lottery for no sellers. Choose your next move wisely. So I'm sitting here going, well, shit, I wanted to get my initial money out and they pulled it. I did a compound 2 hours before, and then I was driving back from Stewart. I did a compound 2 hours before and I haven't touched it since. So you see, I have now like, what is that? $824 in there just waiting. Right. And I'm torn because I don't know what the hell Smarter is or what it's going to be worth. They have no document about it. They don't tell you what the tokenomics is going forward. They just want to hang everybody up, right? And they want to get everyone to stop selling. Here's the interesting thing. Since they announced that, this price has stayed at 0.1 to 0.095 back and forth for the last 18 hours. And it has not worked, right? This price has not pushed up. People are still compounding. I think people are like, I don't buy this bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I'm having so much fun watching it. And you know how much I love that dopamine hit from compounding and peeling away. So now I'm sitting here torn. You know, look, I'm making at the current price, I'm getting almost $1,000 a day out of this thing without compounding anymore. Which
so like 33% a day.
Yeah, on a $2,700 investment.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm torn. It's like, am I greedy enough to wait for the Smarter token swap and then start my compounding again? Or should I just compound and take my friggin' money and do the smart thing?
Well, I think that, you know, a couple of things, like you said, when everybody goes, wait, this math doesn't look like it's working. Oh, but it does work because we have a new token coming. The Smarter token.
Well, when you say it that way.
Everybody's like, holy shit, the Smarter token's coming. And they're probably not telling everybody this. So It's probably just the smarter people are getting this inside alpha. But it obviously works.
Yeah.
So my advice would be don't change strategies. Just compound the shit out of it until you get your money out.
Yeah.
And then let it run.
And then smarter will be $10 a token, and I'll be.
So, because don't forget, no, what comes behind that is the next token called most smarter token.
Yeah, Mensa.
The more smarter one. And then we'll have the even more smarter one.
That'll be the Einstein token.
But it does make sense how they use a little behavioral psychology to kind of see what gets the person to not complete the transaction at that point.
I tried to get these guys on the show, and they were like, no, we're trying to stay anon. I'm like, go look at my podcast feed. Look at the anon guys that are on my feed. You can still be anon. What's the problem? They're like, then silence. I haven't heard back.
Yeah, well, they probably can't quite figure out if what they're doing is legal or not.
Well, evidently they met in Miami Beach to plan this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do this whole thing in their Twitter feed. Their Twitter feed's entertaining. So they did this one summer evening in August. A beach house in Miami was rented by a group of 30 to 50-year-old crypto enthusiasts, already successful in other areas of life. Lots of coffee, endless whiteboarding, and 72 hours later, the long-term tokenomics for the smart ecosystem were created. See how they emphasize long-term? Like, you guys, we're just getting started. Don't be selling this shit yet.
We're a long-term Ponzi scheme. We're not short-term. We're not 3-card money or anything like that. We're like 87 million cards later.
We predicted an avalanche of selling pressure around 26,000% APR, yet we knew we had to incentivize aping in order to go viral in phase 1. Harvard doesn't make mistakes, and this is the Harvard math guy who
I'm sure they love this.
Supposedly Harvard's like, what the fuck?
Take that guy's diploma. Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
So is it Joe Harvard? Is that who it is?
Yeah, it must be. Anyway, I'm having fun with it. Right now I've got a few $100 out, and I'm debating, but I think you're right. I think I should just say screw it and go for it. I'm just, that's that psychology works, because in my head I'm thinking, well, if there's a cool model around smarter and it can have far more value, and I get 100% bonus on the tokens I have, plus, damn,
Yeah, it's like, how long does it take before you're firing up that frozen margarita machine?
And then, of course, they're telling everybody, just put more of your money in instead of compounding. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's the way to compound for the owners.
So the beach group has somebody to dump on.
Yeah. So the viral part, in case anybody's wondering, is the retail last leg of the train.
Exactly.
So, that's when you see it frothing up like that.
Yep.
But look, you can play the game. I mean, it's game theory at this point.
Yeah.
How much do you consider a win? To me, $300 in a couple of days off 2,700. That's a win.
Yeah.
Get all your principal off in a couple of days and let the rest ride. That's a win.
Yeah.
You just keep milking it. So, but you can't look at it. Anybody listening, you can't look at it as like, give it to them and forget about it, because it's going to be forgotten about. That's what it's like. Well, you won't forget it, because you'll go, why the hell did I do that? God,
exactly.
But if you have a plan,
I'll update everybody later about how it went. So
if we start live broadcasting from some super yacht, then you're going to know it turned out pretty well, everybody.
My 2,700 became 27 million.
Yes.
Near Protocol's jumping in the bigger grants game. Everybody's got to up each other. So they're now offering, they now have 800 million in grants to try to get projects over. So, look, I mean, I think this is just required. And they've got big backers of this protocol. They focused on UI. I've met the guys and talked to the founders. They're good guys. I'm impressed with what they've built. They just haven't had the level of traction yet of Phantom or Avalanche or any of those guys. A lot of NFT stuff going on over there, which is interesting. So, you know, but I like them, and I actually want to see them succeed. So I'm hoping some more projects move over there. I'm actually going to probably encourage a couple of folks I talked to think about taking a little bit of that cash and moving a project over, or copying a project over.
Well, Near's been one that, we've looked at for over almost a year now, and I've been in and out of it several times. And I think that Near, if you want to look at one that it could duplicate the performance, I think it could be more like a Solana than, say, a Polkadot. In the sense, to me, like, this could go meteorically rise quickly. Because it does have solid VCs behind it.
It's got Andreessen and those guys.
Yeah, so they got heavy hitters there. So if one's going to be anointed, this could be one that's anointed. And so if you're looking at those, to me, it's, Moon River is another one that I've been seeing get a lot of traction. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But they've got a lot of activity going on that chain. Everybody's looking for the layer ones right now. And so, that's, like you said, Phantom, Solana, Polkadot, Near, Ethereum. I put, Polygon Matic in there because of their breadth. But anybody doing something like that, I think Near's a good bet.
Yeah.
Because of everything they have going on. So, and it was up like $2 or $3 today, wasn't it? I thought I saw that movement somewhere.
I don't know.
I don't know. Pull it up real quick. Yeah, one thing that always held me up. Yeah, no, it's up 30% today. It's up to 12. So
nice.
That was at 7 just a matter of a couple of days ago.
Yep.
So that's good news.
Definitely. You got anything else? Oh, you want to talk about the general market a little bit? Bitcoin kicking back up again?
Yeah, everything. It looks like there was a bunch of buying starting right around 11:45.
Yeah. Ethereum's trying to make a big move.
Yeah, it's chugging nice. It's and there was the buying this morning at 4. I noticed too, right around 3:45. So to me, I don't know where this goes on this go around. I mean, you hear all the outlandish stuff. You hear 85, you hear 100, you hear 74, and you hear retreating to like somewhere where it is now. I don't know. I think it's a whole different paradigm with all the institutional money coming in now, that you don't get those bottom outs anymore. I don't think.
Right.
And I think this is all demand driven right now, that all the on exchange supply is low across the major tokens, coins, but demand's still coming. So that's fresh money coming in, and it's at all these weird, what I would call U.S. East Coast hours. I find kind of intriguing.
Yeah.
Not that someone couldn't just do that if for some reason they wanted to, mask by going through VPNs or doing it at different times, but it's too much of a pattern.
Yeah.
So, I see a lot of stability coming in and a lot of buying pressure. So I think that's all positive. We talked about the MasterCard thing, where basically it looks like it's going to be seamless with the MasterCard network.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which would be super huge. And then other stuff going on. I mean, I saw a lot more rotation going into Phantom and Matic the last day or so. And I'm just kind of wondering, where I wasn't expecting those to take off this early. I thought they were going to come after, say an ETH or Bitcoin sort of top. But they seem to be going already. So Curve's over 4 now, I think, 418.
Wow.
Matic's $1.65. FTM's getting ready to go through 3. So, and this was all before, this move in the last hour. So I don't know. What do you think? You talk to a lot of the big time BTC Maxi types. I mean, what's their feelings?
Well, I mean, look, those guys are always going to hang no matter what, right? So, but I mean, the data we see is showing, all of this can potentially run. I mean, look, ETH's only $132 away from all-time high right now. So I just feel like all the things are pointing to these continuing to sustain and going higher. I never like swing trade. I buy and hold. I don't, because I just don't trust myself, but it feels like solid right now.
Yeah, I kind of, because it seemed quiet over the weekend, so I started getting a little anxious. But then the more I was digging into everything, of course, weekends are slow in general, but I just don't get obviously big news last week and big news the week before, anticipating the big news of last week. And now everybody's trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I don't feel like there's downside at this point yet.
Yeah.
I think that there's maybe a flurry of something and then maybe a little downside, but I think it sets a new, however you call it, the new all-time low kind of thing, when it bounces back, new support, something like that. Where, yeah, I see that. And I think that, if you're going to play the layer ones and big cap DeFi, you're looking at like Curves and Aves and MakerDAO.
Don't forget Shiba Inu.
Oh yeah, Shiba Inu. I don't even look at any of that stuff. I mean,
it dropped 20% this morning because Elon Musk said he doesn't own any.
I did see that. Ironically, I did see that tweet. Somebody tweeted, "How much of this do you own?" He goes, "None." Like, what a tank. Which I find humorous in many levels, but I mean, Near's one that I'd put into the mix. Solana seems a little rich for me right now at over 200.
Yeah,
but, everything else. I mean, I have no Avalanche. It seems a little rich to me, but still, I don't see why that doesn't. I think the market cap's over 12 billion, but I don't see why that can't get to Solana level.
Yeah,
which would be another 5 to 8x from here. But Phantom's what I like a lot still. Phantom and Matic, and Curve and Aave. That's kind of where I'm thinking there's going to be a big rush in the next, whenever the money cascades off of the big two and starts taking the next level down. Those are going to go like crazy, I think.
Yeah, well, it's interesting.
Hopefully.
If you own enough Near, setting up an $800 million grant fund isn't too bad for a 30% gain in like however many hours.
Yeah, and it shows commitment too. It shows that willing to bring developers in, which I like.
Yep.
But the other one I think we didn't start looking at just for the future is this Lido LDO. Just kind of want to see what's going on there. I mean, top 10.
Essentially, it's a staking operation, right? But they have a shitload of money staked, and that's only going to grow when 2.0 comes. So 8 billion staked,
Yeah,
that's
exactly
astounding.
And on a couple of the chains that we don't have a lot of exposure to right now, I've got like very little, if any, Terra Luna and Solana. I was in it before. I was in Serum. I hear a lot of talk about, I think maybe this is on Avalanche. I can't remember. I hear a lot about Solar, I think, as one of the dexes.
Okay.
Let's see. Saber, I'm hearing a lot about. I'm sorry, Saber. But I used to do Serum before. Solar might be over there with Trader Joe's is Avalanche. But, kind of starting to explore those two, more Phantom, more Avalanche.
Right.
And then picking other ones up. Because I'm not sure what happens with Matic, going forward as a layer 2 to ETH. Does it, if it goes head to head with everybody else, does it go at him as ETH or is it as Matic? And that I'm not sure of.
I think here's the beauty of it. They're now set up with 3 layer 2 solutions, one side chain, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of great tech. They have obviously an incredibly strong team and they're cranking, right? So from my perspective, it's about now making those connections seamless for them. And they have said from day one, when they announced all those Ethereum guys joining their board, they announced from day one that they, are right now Ethereum layer 2, but their plan is to be a cross-chain hub of all the major chains, right? And so what's interesting is I'm wondering if we would see potentially an acquisition of DeFi by Polygon, because you combine that with the existing layer 2 solutions they have, and you have the cross-chain tech that DeFi has. Now you can speed up that progression to Polygon being this hub of all the chains, right? So I don't know. I'm a big believer in that team and what they're doing. I think they still have performance issues on the existing kind of Polygon network that everyone is using. And that's just from volume. But I think they have the tech and the team to go further. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, everything they've done has made sense to me so far. And, I think that with the other chains going now too, full, pretty much cranking, that, you get people getting attracted to it from the rewards.
Yep.
And then, obviously there was that spam transaction problem on Polygon. And so once they changed the gas fee minimums, that went away for the most part. So, but, now transactions are a penny, or half a penny. Whereas, on Ethereum, we know on a good day, it's $40 or, but most of the time it's 80 to 100.
Right.
So, but everybody starts bitching about a penny transaction. And I'm kind of like, who cares? I mean,
who gives a shit? Exactly.
Yeah. So I think they kind of got a little bit of gas there from others, and, and maybe some of the third world markets they're in, maybe that's a bigger issue than it is to me. But, I think that they have, like you said, everything in place. It's just a matter of how do they, keep the Ethereum guys somewhat happy, and at the same time, build their own thing. And to me, Define and them is a great fit culturally, obviously. Yep. And the developers all know each other. So they throw router protocol.
Yeah. You look at these three guys here, Ryan, Sean Adams, Anthony Sassano, and John Lilick, three primarily Ethereum maximalists who are well known in the ecosystem. I don't think the Ethereum ecosystem is going to get mad at them. I think they understand that Polygon's really building a solution that works for them. So
that actually keeps ETH going.
Yeah,
in ways
exactly.
that they didn't anticipate.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about this before. I think Ethereum becomes a settlement layer, right? It becomes, now I say that, but you've got a lot of projects that are on layer one, but I think ultimately it becomes a settlement layer and things start moving to Arbitrum or Polygon's, one of Polygon's 4 solutions or whatever. But I think Ethereum has its value in being the place where all the data is written and stored, so we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right.
I got nothing else, buddy.
Just make sure I didn't miss anything. Everything's looking, everything's positive, trending the right way from my perspective. Tightening up a little bit on the lower, smaller tokens and plays just because I want to be a little more nimble. Yeah. Particularly if they're up, if I'm up 100, 150%, because I think there's going to be another chance to get them.
Yeah.
I'm not a big swing trader either, but I do believe in taking some money off the top at different points to de-risk. So I'm kind of doing that right now.
Good.
And, one thing I'm looking at, I think, is probably Avalanche is the one I'm going to take a look at a lot, and then Lido and a couple other ones. But just play in that top tier of where it goes after the BTC and the ETH run up.
That makes sense.
And then hopefully I can sell some NFTs. Always the last thing I get to, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I didn't realize I had this much in NFTs. Wow,
exactly. Exactly.
So it's a good way to end the day.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. Good talking to you. I will chat with you tomorrow. And,
sounds good.
Any questions, anyone, just go ahead and DM Brad.
I need to start releasing your Telegram username on the show so they can DM you.
I get so much of that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
all right, buddy.
See everybody tomorrow.
Have a good one.
Talk to you later.